Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Denis Pacheco. Pacheco was shot and killed on Friday, May 4th, 2007 in the 15700 block of Rayen Street in North Hills, according to LA County Coroner records. Frederick Thomas, Edward Arch, and Michael David Brown were subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. On May 4th, 2007, Frederick Thomas and Michael Brown were at a house on Danube Avenue where the defendant's acquaintance Edward Arch lived. Arch was on the porch. Thomas and Brown were outside near Thomas's car, a purple Cutlass Supreme. Alexandra Cano and Denis Pacheco drove up in a white Camaro. Cano was dropping off shoes at her cousin's nearby house when defendant Brown asked if they were lost. An argument ensued between defendant and Pacheco. Cano testified Pacheco told the man he argued with, "Don't worry about it." According to Thomas's testimony, Pacheco, as he drove away, made a gun gesture with his hands. Defendant Brown told Thomas to follow Pacheco, and they got into their respective cars. Thomas got into his purple Cutlass, and defendant got into his Altima. Cano noticed that the purple Cutlass was following them, but she lost sight of it at some point. Thomas got a chirp on his walkie-talkie from defendant, who asked for Thomas's location. Thomas told him where he was, and Thomas received two more chirps from defendant, who asked if he was still following Pacheco. Defendant told Thomas, "We're gonna knock him," which meant they would kill Pacheco. Thomas, however, drove home. Pacheco parked on Rayen Street where Cano lived. Pacheco and Cano sat in the car talking. Cano testified that a tan Altima pulled up alongside them, and its passenger appeared to be angry. Pacheco got out of his car, and the Altima's passenger got out of the car holding a gun. Pacheco and the passenger talked for about 10 seconds, and then the passenger shot Pacheco 5 times, killing him. 2 or 3 days after Pacheco was murdered, defendant Brown told Thomas they needed to lay low, paint Thomas's car, and get out of town. Brown told Thomas, quote, "We knocked that little white car that was following, the dude that was in the white car." From 3 photographic six-packs, Cano identified Thomas, Brown, and Arch. She said all 3 resembled the shooter. Thomas was the prosecution's main witness against defendant Brown. Frederick Thomas pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 12 years in prison for his crime. On December 11, 2012, a jury found defendant Michael Brown guilty of first-degree murder, and the trial court sentenced defendant to 26 years to life in prison. Brown appealed, and the appeals court reversed the judgment, stating, "Where a trial judge creates the impression he or she is allying with the prosecution, the judge commits misconduct. Here, the trial judge acted as a second prosecutor by examining witnesses, including defendant Michael David Brown. We therefore must reverse the judgment." At a separate trial, Edward Arch was acquitted for insufficiency of evidence. Denis Pacheco was 19 years old at the time of death.